What's up, everybody? This is Brad, and it's time to review Fortnite Chapter 5, Season 2, Myths and Mortals. And I really wasn't sure how I wanted to do this at first, because I'm monetized now, and I think one of the last times I did a review, and I decided to have have the game on in the background, so you could have some Fortnite lobby music playing, so it's not just my voice. It got copyright flagged, and so that takes a little bit of your money away from you. So this time it's just gonna be me talking. I know that's probably disappointing to some people, but that's the way things are gonna work. But anyway, overall, let's start out and just say I think this was a pretty good season, although I've got some issues with the way the story kind of played out, because it's set up as the gods have arrived on the island after being, I guess, prompted by the opening of Pandora's box. And now it's the gods versus the humans or the mortals, whatever. And the thing is, the gods aren't on the island. Not really. At least the aggressive ones. They have their places, they have their POIs, and they have statues there that you have to break in order to summon them. So they're not like actively trying to kill anyone unless you go there and provoke them. So it's kind of just strange. Like, I kind of wish they'd have done something similar to the IO versus 7 war, where the Imagined Order had bases around the Chapter 3 island, and every update you would see that the 7 had pushed back and had reclaimed some of those POIs that the IO had control over. And so that actually did feel like an active war. And I don't know, it feels like if you're going to have a war-themed season, then you need to have a war. But anyway, aside of that, I feel like that's more of a nitpick. But I am glad that they again utilized the Battle Pass skins in the story. That's something I feel like has been needed. That's one good thing, and we'll talk again. I've already did a whole video on Donald Mustard's interview, and I'll talk a little bit about how I think that could impact some of the stuff that happened this season and then going forward. But anytime like this, every character in the Battle Pass, except for Korra, it was the one crossover skin we had, and Korra didn't really have any influence on the story. But, of course, they did the big Avatar collection thing later, but we'll get into that too. Because there's three... I kind of divide this season into 3 chapters. It's 3 mini chapters within this season. But, otherwise, I like the Battle Pass. The Battle Passes are a lot more interesting and cool when the characters in the Battle Pass are part of the story of the season or the chapter or whatever. Like, give us the lore. Tell me why these characters are in the Battle Pass. Like, they need to be important. At least in Korra's case, it's a collaboration skin, so that makes it kind of important. Maybe not to the lore, but as a business deal. Okay, and for people who are fans of Avatar, who wanted to have Avatar characters in the game for so long. Okay, I count that as important enough. But, anyway, yeah, it's not just like random Jonesy reskin. But let's get into these. We'll talk about the gameplay. Like, I think that the weapons this season were pretty good. Strangely enough, I did not like the Hades chain early on, and I was really liking Zeus's lightning. But I quickly found out that Zeus's lightning has a very big weakness, and that is you do get 3 powerful strikes, but that 3rd strike, there's a good 2 to 3 second delay or something like that between the 2nd and 3rd strikes, and you are wide open. So if your opponent isn't killed with the first 1 or 2 strikes, then you're a sitting duck. But afterwards, so my opinion was that early on, didn't like the Hades chain, liked the Zeus's lightning. By the end of this season, I flipped that completely. I love the Hades chain. And the Zeus's lightning is cool still. It's still cool, but I just the chain's the better weapon. The Avatar stuff was good too. The four elements, great weapons there too. The water bending has stuck around. It was part of the game early with the Korra stuff, and they added fire bending, earth bending, and air bending, which I thought was interesting. Air bending was strictly a mobile uh, mythic, just to get around faster, and a little bit of uh, a boost and a jump there. Which also could affect cars. That was always kind of wild to see when Airbender gets too close to your car and then they do a boost jump and your car ends up way up in the air. So, yeah, the fire bending was pretty fun too. Earth bending is kind of reskinned after the second My Hero Academia mythic, where you can create a stone wall to protect yourself with, or throw just a big sheet of rock at somebody. So those were fun. So we had some fun weapons, and they even added the Wookiee uh, laser gun. I don't know what it's called, but Chewbacca's special little weapon there when the Star Wars collab dropped. That was a pretty fun weapon too. But let's get into the lore stuff, because this is something I want to talk about. The first, where I said before, I divide this season into three specific mini chapters. First, the rise of Midas. The second one, the Avatar stuff. And the third, Chewbacca and the Star Wars collab. Now, we've been told since the end of chapter 2 that Midas was still alive by Donald Mustard himself. That Midas apparently survived the device event and had not truly perished. So he was still out there. Well, Donald Mustard left Fortnite and Epic, and a lot of storyline and bits and plot points were just completely abandoned. And I honestly think were intentionally written off so that they could just get away from them and not have to talk about them anymore. But it looks like they wanted to capitalize off of Midas, and it looks like somebody at Epic had the wherewithal to know, like, hey, we're doing this gods and mortals thing with the Greek gods, and Midas is tied into that mythology. Let's bring him back. Let's actually finally bring him back. We've been saying for years and teasing the return of Midas for so long. And the way they did it was that they, in the overworld, which, let me go back and stop real quick to say I love Olympus on the map, but I'm a really big fan of the underworld and its presentation in the game. The green aura from when you're in there, and the whole thing with the River of the Dead there, and you get the boost from being in that. Really cool place, and I don't know if the underworld is going to stick around after this season. I imagine that the underworld and Olympus will both be gone in this wrecked post-apocalyptic world. I don't know. I don't know how the post-apocalyptic is going to play out. Is it going to be because the gods is going to stick around a little bit longer and cause more mayhem? Maybe they're going to, this is the second phase of the war or something? I don't know. But anyway, Midas's reboot card was down in a small chamber, a prison chamber, towards somewhere around Hades' throne room. And once the update started, the doorway to that was busted, and Midas is now on the island. Specifically, Shadow, his old team, Brutus and Tiantina and Sky, and even Marigold and Jules have reformed or come back to the island as NPCs to help get him out of prison, or at least to wait for him to break out of the underworld so that they can hijack the Marigold that was stolen from them by the Society, who apparently now no longer exists. There's some concept art in the season's Battle Pass showing Zeus, or I think it was Zeus, fighting off members of the Society, but Hope, who I think is going to stick around, this character seems to be getting a lot of attention, and she was mentioned by the Oracle every time you did a storyline mission in this, at the very end, she says, "Hope will remain." So, something about hope. But, as well as her sister. I think her sister is going to come back, Valeria. But anyway, Midas and Shadow succeed in stealing the Marigold back from the control of the society. And then they vanish. With rumor I think it was Brutus who said that the plan was for them to go somewhere. They have a plan. They're going somewhere. Where? They don't tell us. But Midas did briefly appear on Spawn Island before they removed him and the Marigold, and Brutus, I think, is gone. I think the characters, like Meowscles is still around. I think any of the Shadow members that you could hire stuck around. It may have just only been Meowscles. But the thing, because I know Jules is gone, Brutus is gone, Midas is gone, Marigold is gone, I think. I think everybody but Meowscles left. But the thing about this ending is it reminds me a little bit of what they did with the Seven, what they did with the Geno story, what they did with the story of the Shapeless Man, the Oathbound. All of this kind of feels like this was an attempt to capitalize on Midas's return, but because it fit the theme of the season, but they're writing him out of the story, so they don't have to use him anymore. Because where's the Seven? The Seven were like a major part of the story. They're just gone now. What happened to the I.O.? Like, we saw that Agent Jones and Dr. Sloan have mended their differences, but Jonesy came back for the new chapter to save Peely. That was kind of it. Like, there's no hint of any other, like, greater purpose for Jonesy. Although there was a new loading screen featuring Hope and Jones staring at the Pandora's box. So maybe Jones comes back in the new season. Maybe he's bringing reinforcements against the gods if this is what this wrecked season is going to be about. I don't even know. Other than it's post-apocalyptic, I don't know, like, what is going to cause it. Like, that's what I want to know. But, because the way that that's jumping around in the story. Anyway, so I'm worried that Midas has been written out of the story. This was Midas's swan song, and he's not coming back. I would love to be wrong, because the wording of the idea that Shadow is going somewhere far away, or they're heading to a new place under Midas's orders again. He's half dead. He's half dead, half alive. He's somewhere stuck in this in-between space where he still has a physical body, but he's dead. So it's sort of a weird. He's in a limbo state. He's kind of undead. Although I don't know, undead doesn't really fit him because he's not the living dead, but he's. I don't know. It's a weird distinction. But, anyway, Midas is back, though. He's out of his, underworld prison, free to roam the Omniverse, if we're going to still refer to it as that. But so he's out there. Shadow is back together. But what will that mean? Will it mean anything? And that's what I'm hoping we'll find some kind of answer soon or at some point, because I hope they didn't bring him back just to write him out of the story like they did with the Seven, where the whole original plan for that at the end of Chapter 3 was for, yes, the Seven to be taken by the Chrome, but it seems like with Donald Mustard stepping away, they're abandoning all of his storyline beats. Like, where the 0 Point wasn't even around for Chapter 4 until the OG season, and it was only there to redo the Big Bang or the black hole or whatever, so they could do the Big Bang and introduce the new Fortnite platform multiverse. So I don't know. I hope we'll see Midas again in a more important role. Maybe at some point they'll do a reforming of the Imagined Order, but that was something that Donald Mustard focused on a lot, and with him gone, who knows? Uh, Now we move on to the second chapter, the second mini chapter of the season, the Avatar collab, and there's not really much story to go over, but we got Korra, of course, was in the battle pass as the secret skin, and then we got Aang, Toph, Zuko, and Katara as skins in the game. Um, but they were pretty expensive. I think this is a bad trend we're going to see. Something else I noticed is they're bundling the newer collabs as bundles instead of letting you have the option to just buy like a skin or a particular back bling or a particular emote or whatever it is that you want. They're sticking them only with these bundles. And I've noticed that for some of these skins that they brought back, like some of the Marvel skins that had specific emotes that released with them, they're only giving you the skin now. Or you don't get you're only getting part of that collab at times. Like, oh, here's Rogue and Gambit again, but only their skins. Not their pickaxes or anything like that, or gliders or anything they might have associated with them, just the skin. And so I don't get that. The new My Hero Academia stuff, there's an emote for one of the characters where he's holding a video game controller and he breaks it with his bare hand. I want that, but you can't buy that emote by itself. You have to buy the whole bundle. And I don't want to buy a character that I don't care about just to get a cool looking emote. I've done that before, but for like the Evil Dead or whatever it was, the Bruce Campbell skin. But I guess lore-wise, there's not really much to say about the Avatar. That was just a collaboration. And then the third part, the Star Wars stuff, got a big beef with this one because the battle pass for this, like there was a mini battle pass for Avatar to get Aang and the two different versions of Aang and stuff like that. The mini battle pass for the Star Wars collab was in Lego Fortnite. So if you want Chewbacca, even though Chewbacca was a big thing for Battle Royale, where in one particular Star Wars Stormtrooper station, if you go there and defeat the Stormtroopers that Chewbacca is fighting, he will automatically join you. So you don't have to hire him. You don't have to like pay him to come along with you. You just have to beat those Stormtroopers. And that was cool. But the mini battle pass being in Lego Fortnite just doesn't sit right with me because, one, you've already done a mini battle pass for this, and two, now if you want the Chewbacca skin, you've got to get out of Battle Royale and go play the other Fortnite mode, which is going to take time away from, progressing in Battle Royale to go play this other game. And that I just couldn't get on board. And like you get the skin as soon as you buy the mini battle pass, but if you don't want to play Lego Fortnite, then you're kind of just wasting the battle pass. It feels like just to get the skin. I don't know. And this is another thing that's getting me about this whole multiverse thing, or this whole Fortnite as a platform operation that Tim Sweeney has just gone headfirst into, is every one of these Fortnite modes is going to have its own battle pass and then a seasonal mini pass too, apparently, for these collaborations. And they're going to start conflicting with each other. Because not everybody is going to want to buy a battle pass for Battle Royale, Rocket Racing, Lego Fortnite, Fortnite Festival. Whenever Fall Guys, I guess, is going to get introduced into this at some point. Because they're going to keep making new game modes. It's not going to just be these main 4 entities. They're going to want battle passes in all of these, and they're going to want you chasing all of them at the same time. So it just becomes them trying to suck more money out of their audience. Especially with the, like, hey, here's one version of Toph and a back bling, 2,000 V-Bucks. Okay, no variants at all. You can't buy just the Toph skin and her other stuff. You got to buy the whole bundle. Like, they don't give you the option to just get the pieces you want. But it's just frustrating because I may have bought this Chewbacca skin mini pass if it was in Battle Royale, were it not that I already had got the Avatars mini pass. Like, how many mini passes are they gonna do a season? Like, I don't know. It's more the whole. Just these companies can't make enough money. They spend more than they've got, but they also make a ton of money, and just some of the decisions just. Let's just look back at it. Not that long ago, Epic was firing like 16 or 18% of their workforce because they bought up some of these smaller studios that they were going to have come in and help them do stuff, and then they sat on them, did nothing with them, and then just sold them off. Just because Tim Sweeney wanted to buy up a bunch of crap because Fortnite was having a really good couple of years where we're making a lot of money, and then all of a sudden that money slows down just a little bit. They didn't make as much as they thought they were going to make or had hoped they were going to make. Not that they didn't make a lot of money. Not that they didn't make a profit. It just wasn't what they thought or wanted it to be. And so, oopsie, we got to get rid of people. Anyway, I don't really understand the point of all these different Fortnite modes anyway, because then you're your own competition. I mean, that kind of goes true, like, for though, I don't know. Like, at least the idea, like, Nintendo release, like, if you're releasing multiple games as a studio, like, okay, Nintendo's not going to drop, like, Mario, Zelda, Smash, Pokemon. They're going to drop all of these at the exact same time. They're going to space them out to give people a chance to play each one, and then be like, okay, I finished Princess Peach Showtime just in time for the new remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door to come out. So they're not competing against each other; they're just giving you more product. But the problem is, all these different Fortnite modes are live service games, and live service games are just inherently competing against each other. They just are. Especially because, like, the games evolve. They don't stay the same. So if you don't want to miss out in a particular event that's happening in this game, then you got to abandon this other event that might be happening in a different game. But anyway, I'm ranting on the industry as a whole again. So let's move on. Star Wars stuff was cool, but they did a lot more focus on that for Lego Fortnite than in Battle Royale. They did bring Darth Vader back as a boss, but for some reason his boss battle music is not there. I don't know what the deal is with that. At least it wasn't for me. And this time he's not like around in different spots on the map. I don't think he was in the last chapter either, but either way. And his ship doesn't fly in anymore. They cut that out. But overall, I think this was a fun season. Not the best ever, but, and like I said, it was more about just running around and doing errands for all these deities, and like Medusa's not like evil or whatever. It was more like we're just doing errands for some of these gods because they're mostly annoyed with Zeus. I don't know how many of you are familiar with some of the actual tales of the actual Zeus, but he's not like the Disney where he's a bubbly, lovable father. No, in the actual mythology, Zeus is basically a mad king tyrant god who views like he just kind of just does whatever he wants. He's kind of a douchebag, but because he's the king of the gods. So anyway, basically we get a lot of help. I don't even know what Hades' significance was for this, other than you just do some stuff for him. You help him like find Cerberus's chew toy. Like, there's some of that Fortnite humor in there, but it's less of a war against the gods and more of a, I mean, Ares is just kind of there. He's just another, like, fighter thing. He doesn't really do much. But I guess Ares does work for Zeus technically within the lore, but it seems like most of the characters don't really align with Zeus, and they're more annoyed by him, and they think that he's kind of being a jerk, so they decide to help the mortals instead. It's like, uh, hey man, Zeus, you're kind of going a little bit overboard with this, don't you think? And he's like, no, I want to wipe out all of humanity. And they're like, yeah, nah, we'll help the humans this time. But also, so before we wrapped up, they did a thing again where I guess the lore is we destroy Zeus or we kill Zeus, because one of the story missions is towards the end. The last bit of the storyline is to destroy these chalices or whatever these godly artifacts are that Zeus has tied his immortality to, and if you destroy them, it weakens his invulnerability. So he can be killed if you destroy these holy relics. And the final storyline mission is basically go defeat Zeus. So it's a lot like the Kato Thorn from Chapter 4, Season 4, where you end the storyline conflict in the game instead of like some cutscene thing. Now, who knows? Maybe there's some a big animated cutscene that shows us how we get from from Season 2 to 3. But I don't know. It looks like if it works out the same way that it did in that previous chapter, then Zeus has been killed. He's eliminated. He's gone. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And the next season is going to be, like I said, post-apocalyptic. I'm assuming that maybe at least some damage was done to the island in this conflict. And who knows what this is. Big Fallout collab. I don't know anything about Fallout, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Now, you may be wondering, why is Dragon Ball Z's future Trunks... why has Trunks been staring at me this whole video? Well, a leaker got wind that future Trunks is coming back... is supposed to be coming to the game. The season is just about over with, so I'm not expecting something like a Dragon Ball collab to drop within like the last 3 days of this season. And it could happen, but with the theme being post-apocalyptic for Fortnite Wrecked, I'm going to make a bold claim here, since I haven't seen anything about the Battle Pass. I don't even know if the Battle Pass is leaked yet. Sometimes this happens. But I'm going to kind of predict that future Trunks, with it being a post-apocalyptic theme, and Trunks comes from a post-apocalyptic world where the Android 17 and 18 have destroyed his future, and then it gets further destroyed later by Goku Black and Zamasu, that future Trunks will be in the Battle Pass. As maybe the secret skin. I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me. At the very least, it would make sense if he's not in the Battle Pass, then at least it does make sense for him to show up during the next season, as he comes from a post-apocalyptic world. So, but I've had a gut feeling when this news dropped that Trunks was supposed to be coming to the game. There was not really anything else added to it. So I'm like, okay, so Trunks is coming. They didn't add anything about it. It wasn't for Goku Day. They didn't do anything for Goku/Piccolo Day this year. So maybe he's a Battle Pass skin. I think that would be cool. But, it's not Goku. So Goku's already in the game. So I don't know. Maybe they could do a different version of Goku in a Battle Pass, but who knows? So that's all I got for you. I've managed to turn this into a 30-minute video. Hope you guys are still sitting here listening. But let me know what you guys thought about this season. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts on, what were your thoughts about Midas returning and then sailing away into the sunset, potentially to never be seen again? Like, we waited this whole time for him to come back. He comes back and is a, supernatural jailbreak. And he gets on his boat and leaves. Like, is this going to be another case of the Seven where, or Amy the robot, where we find out she's going to go try to save the scientist and then that storyline just gets dropped completely? What about the Avatar collab? Was that cool to you? The Star Wars collab? I know that's an annual thing, but did you go to play Lego Fortnite? Did that bother you? Did you do all these mini passes and battle passes for these different versions of Fortnite bother you? How much money are you willing to spend on one game? Because I still consider Fortnite overall to be one game. It's not. I know that internally they consider these things to be different games entirely. I don't, because they reuse the assets between most of them. Like Rocket Racing, I think still uses skins. Rocket Racing, Fortnite Festival, and Battle Royale. It's all the same skins. It's all the same models. They're all just repurposed. So it's not different games. They're supposed to feel like that. I feel like it's not really the same thing. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Who else do you want? I know we're supposed to be getting Pirates of the Caribbean. That would be a pretty wild battle pass. Say Jack Sparrow and Future Trunks in the same battle pass. It's a pretty big difference of media there, but they both use swords. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Appreciate you for watching. Like and subscribe. Check out my other stuff. Maybe become a member of the channel if you want to do that. And I guess now it's time to just sit and wait for Season 3 to start. What will this post-apocalyptic Fallout, Dragon Ball, Future Trunks timeline map look like? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. And the day it comes out, I'll see you there.